You did what the system told you was right. You studied hard in school. You got a good job. And now you're getting a good paycheck, but you have no wealth to show for it. It's not an accident. It's how the system keeps you stuck. I'll show you. You bust your butt in school. You got a good degree, which qualifies, paying you for a great job, paying you $75,000 a year right out of college. Pretty good. Now you want to go out and buy some nice stuff. But the first expense you have to pay is none other than the United States government with taxes. Depending on where you live, you're going to end up paying somewhere between $15,000, $16,000 to $25,000 a year in taxes. So let's assume you're not in a super high tax state like California or New York. You're going to pay about $20,000 a year in taxes, which is going to leave you with $55,000 a year to actually spend. That translates to $4,600 a month in after-tax income. The first thing is you need a place to live, and you don't want to spend too much money on housing. So you get yourself a nice apartment where all of your housing costs included are $1,800 a month. That's your rent, your utilities, your internet, and everything else. And then you need a car to get to and from work. And because you got yourself a nice job, you might as well get a nice 3 Series. That's going to cost you $500 a month. Plus, you got to pay for the gas, which is premium. You got to pay for the insurance, and you got to pay for the maintenance. So, all in, it might cost you around $750 a month for your driving in that BMW. But don't forget, you went to a good college, and there's a cost to that. So, you have to pay back those student loans. So, you're paying about $600 a paying month in your student loans. You spend $500 a month on the good life. That's eating out at restaurants and entertainment and traveling and having your Netflix and Apple Music. You spend $250 a month on your health. Maybe that's your health insurance. Maybe that's your gym membership. And then you spend an additional $500 a month on random stuff. These are gifts you buy for people. This is the TV in your apartment. This is the furniture you buy for your apartment. This is the clothes that you wear. Add up these expenses and you get $4,400 a month in your expenses, which means you have $200 left to invest and save for your future. Except there's one little problem. You haven't eaten yet. Add in just another $500 a month on groceries and food, and now you are losing $300 a month every single month. Even though you're making good money, this is where you start to feel stuck. So you open up a new credit card and start racking up a little bit of credit. Card debt like millions of Americans do. That way you can keep funding your lifestyle, and hopefully you'll get a raise soon. That way you can finally start affording all the nice things that you have. And then because you have yourself a really good job at a great company and you're busting your butt there, a year or so goes by and now you get a raise from $75,000 a year to $85,000 a year, which after taxes means that you're earning approximately an additional $670 a month. So now all of your financial problems should be solved, right? Because now you have the money to pay for the groceries. You can start paying on the credit card debt and finally have some money to save and invest. Except a couple things happen. Number one, your car insurance goes up because, well, BMWs are expensive to insure and car insurance is expensive. Not to mention that now your rent also just got more expensive because your landlord says it's going to cost you an additional $100 a month to live there. And then your friend said they want to go to Cancun, and now all the additional money that you got from here is now being sucked into your expenses. And now you're ending up in a deeper hole than you were in even before. This is the system that keeps so many Americans stuck. You're working hard to generate a good paycheck, and the first expense you have to pay is your taxes. After you pay your taxes, you spend whatever's left. And then, because it's not enough, to make do with some additional help with credit or debt. And then when you don't have enough money to save and invest, you just keep hoping that if you work harder, you'll be able to get out of the system. But what ends up happening is you just keep going deeper and deeper unless you can make a real change. And that change starts today because there is a way out. It's going to take sacrifice. It is going to take hard work. But there is a way out of this system. And I'm going to show you step by step what you can do to get out of this system. Do you know why so many Americans get stuck in the middle class and never have a chance to actually build any real wealth? It's because they spend all their money trying to look rich. They spend their money trying to have the nice BMW. They spend the money on the nice house, to spend the money on having the entertainment and having all this random stuff, which sounds like, yeah, it's the normal thing that everybody else is doing. But if you want to become wealthy, what wealthy people do is they work extremely hard to spend little money here. That way, they have their money to buy investments. They have the assets. And when you do that, you're going to look very broken poor because you're not going to have the 3 series. You're not going to have the nice apartment. You're not going to have some nice stuff for a little while. And then as you start to accumulate these assets, well, now these assets will slowly start paying you. And after some time, now you can go back to buying the nice stuff, but you no longer have to worry about the price because you're not working to earn the money to buy these praised frond things. Your investments are paying you money that you can use to buy these things. And if you stopped working, well, the money keeps coming in here. If you stopped working or your company went bankrupt or you got laid off, the money goes away, but your expenses are still there. And you need to future protect yourself. That way, you can build wealth no matter where you are in your financial journey. And that starts by changing your spending habits. Now, I gotta let you know that I don't make these videos to make friends. I make these videos to help you be better with money. What I'm about to tell you will hurt, but once you get past the sting, you will see how the opportunities will start to arise if you put in the sacrifice for a little while. Here's what you need to do. Every banker and landlord will tell you that you can live in a bigger house, but I'm here to tell you that you cannot. You need to live in a smaller house. Figure out how you can cut your housing costs to $1,200 a month. This is going to save you $600 a month just on your housing costs. Yeah, it might not be as nice of a place. Yeah, it might not be in the best neighborhood that you're in right now, but you're going to save $600 a month. Then I want you to cut this. Entertainment expenses. Get rid of the eating out at restaurants. Get rid of the travel. Get rid of the Netflix. Get rid of the Apple Music for a little period of time because I call it the financial danger zone. If you have credit card debt or if you don't have any savings saved up, you are in the financial danger zone. So you have to make this little sacrifice for a period of time. That way you can start building these things. This way you can save an extra $500 a month. And then we're going to take this $500 of random expenses and cut those out too. So this extra clothes, the extra furniture, the extra gifts that you were buying, you are going to go into hibernation to turn your finances around for a little period of time. That's $500, $500, $600 that you just found, which is an extra $1,600 a month. Now, watch this. The fastest way to change a financial situation is to go Allen and make an end braid. extreme sacrifice for a small period of time. So, if you do this for 6 months, that means that $1,600 a month for 6 months is going to save you about $9,600 that you have. Now, what you're going to do that you have this $9,600 is you're going to go and take this BMW and you are going to sell it. This BMW car payment is costing you $500 a month, plus the premium gas, plus the more expensive insurance, plus the more expensive oil changes. So what you're going to do is you're going to get rid of the BMW as fast as possible and then use this money to go out and buy yourself a car, not a BMW, a used Toyota Camry, a used Toyota Corolla, a used Honda Accord. That way, now you can buy this car with cash. But now, what you're going to do, because you get to buy the car with cash, you get to keep that $500 a month that you're paying to BMW. Plus, you get to save money in gas and insurance and maintenance. So let's just say hypothetically that you're going to save $500 a month. You should save more than that, but let's just say an additional $500 a month right here, which means now you're not saving $1,600 a month. You're going to be saving 2,100美元 a month. Now, what you're going to do is brace it. You're going to make this extreme. Sacrifice for just 3 more months. In 3 months' time of saving $2,100 a month, you are going to have $6,300 saved up. And now you probably racked up a few thousand of credit card debt. So you're going to take $3,000 from here and pay off your credit card debt. After you pay off the credit card debt, you're going to take $2,000 and put it into a savings account, which is your extra money, the starting of your emergency savings fund. That way, in case something bad happens, you have some extra cash, so you never have to think about going into credit card debt again, and you have an extra $1,300 or so to help you start your investing. And now, we start to live a very different life. Now that you have a little bit of financial breathing room, this is where you want to create a system for your money, because what every single wealthy person does is they know how much money they're going to save. They know how much money they're going to invest, and they know how much money they're going to spend before they earn a dollar. And a very simple rule of thumb is 751510, which says for every dollar that you earn, from here on out, 75 cents is the maximum that you can spend. 15 cents is the minimum that you're going to invest, and 10 cents is the minimum that you're going to save. This is how you become wealthy. This is how you look rich. This is the fun money you get to spend. But this is where your wealth and effort is going to go into, because the more effort you put in here, the wealthier you're going to become. Now, I'm not going to do a full deep dive of how you can find investment opportunities in this video. But if you are interested in becoming an investor, or you are an investor, I have put together a free brand new investing masterclass where I walk you through how you can get started as an investor and find hidden investment opportunities before everybody else. And I'll show you the exact framework that my firm and I use to research investment opportunities before they hit the headlines. And if you enjoy the investing masterclass and get a ton of value out of it, I'm also going to present you the opportunity to get our research at Market Briefs Pro. Plus, when you register for the master class, we're also going to give you access to Market Briefs, which is my newsletter for investors for free, complimentary at no cost. So, if you want to get the investing masterclass and Market Briefs all for free, all you have to do is register, and I have the link for you down in the description below. So, let's play through the scenario. If you make $5,000 a month after taxes, What that means is 75% of, that is $3,750, is the maximum that you can spend. $750 is the minimum of what you should be investing every month, and $500 is the $3 minimum of what you should be saving every single month. Now, the 9-month transformation that I just showed you is extremely aggressive, but it is possible if you're willing to make extreme sacrifices, because the goal isn't for you to live small for the rest of your life. The goal is to make a sacrifice for a period of your life. That way, you can live the rest of your life without having to worry about money. And you can't get there if you're constantly having to rely on debt to pay your bills. If you're constantly struggling just to make your payments, you have to get to a point where you have a cushion where you can always spend less than what you're earning. That way you have money to save and invest every single month. Once you can get here now, you have the opportunity to actually work towards becoming financially free. But when you're spending all of your money and then some, you're never going to get there. And the reason why so many people get stuck in that system is because, number one, it's normal. Everybody's doing that. And number two, that's how our system is designed, because our system is designed to profit off of you being stuck in that system. Because when you're drowning in debt, the banks are profiting. When you're spending all of your money, corporations are making money. And when you're just making money as an employee, the government is profiting as well, because, well, as the licensed attorney, who's not your attorney, I can tell you that you are taxed differently depending on how you earn your money. And when you earn your money from your job, it's called earned income. That comes with the highest tax rates and the lowest tax breaks. When you make your money from an investment, well, now you have the ability to pay less money in taxes, either because you qualify for lower tax rates called long-term capital gains, or you can qualify for more deductions. Like if you're a real estate investor, you get more write-offs to lower your taxable income that you don't get when you work just a job. So now, to actually make this happen, there are two things that I need you to focus on. Number one, focus on your mindset. And number two, focus on your money set. Let me start by talking about the mindset. You can have all the financial education in the percent world, but if you don't have the right mindset on how to become wealthy and how to keep that wealth, you will never actually become wealthy, because all success starts in your mindset. So there are 4 things that I want you to adopt to help you build a successful mindset. Mindset shift number 1 is I will become wealthy. Not that I might become wealthy, not that I can become wealthy, but that I will become wealthy. Because if you don't believe that you can do it yourself, it is never going to happen. And a lot of times this means you have to change the way you think about wealth in general. Because if you hate the idea of somebody becoming wealthy, if you hate the idea of rich people and successful people, why would you want to do something to make yourself something that you hate? So if you hate the idea of success, you're never going to become successful yourself. And you have to change that mindset in and of yourself. That way you can become wealthy, which is why you got to say, I will become wealthy. Mindset. Shift number 2 is money as a tool. I didn't grow up learning about money. In fact, I was told growing up that money is not something you should talk about. Although my parents were going to work every single day to get paid, and it didn't make much sense to me. And it wasn't until that I understood that people put up these smoke screens around money because they're insecure about their money. And that was when I understood that money is a tool. We say money is bad and evil, yet we go to work every single day to get paid. We say we, shouldn't talk about or worry about money. Yet it costs money to eat, and it costs money to feed other people. If you understand how money plays a part in your life, now you can understand how to attract that money without being consumed by money. And this is where it is very important to understand that money is a tool. And I break this up into what I call my quadrupit triangle. Because if you want to live a happy and fulfilled life, it's not just about having a lot of money. It's about having a happy and fulfilled life. And that means you want to be fit in 4 areas. Number 1 is you want to be physically fit, because if you are on your deathbed, it doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank. All you want to do is be able to breathe and be healthy. Number 2 is you want to be mentally fit, because if you are surrounded by toxic people, if you're constantly being brought down, if you don't feel happy where you are, doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank, you just want to be happy and loved and supported. So you have to invest in that mental living of your life too. The mental health and being around people that make you feel good. Number 3 is spiritual fitness. Because at the end of the day, if you had $10 million in the bank tomorrow, what's your reason to get out of bed and want to work hard? And if you don't have that spiritual purpose, you're going to feel very lost when you achieve that financial success. And this is where you want to think about, what is your purpose for being on this earth? It doesn't have to be religious, but what is your purpose? And then finally at the top is financial. And this is where having more money can help out, because having more money helps with the financial part of your life. It can help you not have to stress about your bills. It can help you not stress about how you're going to pay for a vacation. It can help you not stress about how you're going to pay for your college or your kids' college, or how you're going to pay for your parents' healthcare. And it can help you do more things that you want to do without having to worry about the price. This is where financial fitness is so important. And when you understand that money is a tool, now you understand that when you have money, it's kind of like putting fuel on a fire. It just amplifies who you are, which is why we need more good people with money. Number 3 is money is abundant. A lot of times we get caught up in this scarcity mindset, thinking where if you make money, if I give money to you, that means I can't get rich. If I pay you, I don't have money. And we start to think about money in this very limited, scarce way of thinking. But that's not how the world works. I mean, in our economic system, more money is being created every single day. There's trillions and trillions, and I mean, there's $37 trillion of national debt. There's a lot of money in the press world. That means you can become rich, and I can become rich. And when you start to understand that money is abundant now, you can start to have bigger goals. Because if you make, let's call it $50,000 a year, and you save and invest $10,000 a year, you might really like this idea of investing and say, man, Jasperit, I wish I could invest more because I want to build more wealth from my investments. So now you go from saving and investing $10,000 a year to $12,000 a year, maybe then $13,000 a year. And you're squeezing more pennies out of this limited pie that you have. But now, if instead of just working for $50,000 a year, what if you could expand the pie from $50,000 a year to $500,000 a year? You're going to say, just breathe. There's no way my boss is going to give me that type of raise. What are you talking about, Justin? That's so too much money. I can't 10x my salary. But let's go back to what we were talking about. Remember, money is a tool, and I will become wealthy. If you say that, let's make the goal to expand the pie to $500,000 a year instead. What are you going to do? Maybe you're going to start changing which YouTube videos you're going to watch. Maybe you start changing your free time hobbies to figure out how you can earn more money. Maybe start reading books on how to start a business. And maybe you don't get there in 12 months. Maybe you never get there. Maybe you go from 50,000 to 75,000 or 50,000 to 150,000. Still, in a 4B ed, better place than you are now, but it changes the way you think. And when you change what you think, you're going to change what you do. And when you change what you do, you're going to change what you get. But it starts by understanding that money is abundant. And mindset, shift number 4 is it is my duty to become wealthy. Look, I don't really care what your philosophy is on this. I believe that it is up to you to take care of yourself, to take care of your family, and to take care of your community. And when you rely on somebody else, like the government, to take care of you, it is very difficult to be able to live any sort of free life, to do the things that you want. And this is where it is so important for you to understand how to control your spending, how to use your income to buy assets. That way you can build that freedom for yourself. And when you can do that, well, you can provide better for yourself, for your family and your community. And so if you want to change the mindset side of things, adopt these 4 mindset shifts. Once you do that, now let's talk about the practical side, which is changing your mindset. And we already kind of started this because we talked about the 75,510 plan, where now you have a system. Every time you get paid, you know how much money you need to spend, how much money you need to invest, how much money you need to save. That way, you are always saving and investing your money before you spend all of your money. And one of the simplest hacks that you can do to help you find ways to cut back on expenses is just to put together a spreadsheet, whether it's a piece of paper or a Google sheet or an Excel sheet. You write down how much money you made and write down all of your expenses. Pull out your credit cards, your debit cards, your bank account, statements, and write down every expense that you had, and then you can categorize them. That way you can see where your money is going. Because in the business world, what we say is if you can't track it, you can't optimize it. It's the same thing with your personal money. Until you actually see where your money is going, you can't actually optimize it. And what happens immediately when you track your money is you start to realize how many stupid places your money was going. Then you can turn that off very quickly, and you'll probably find subscriptions you didn't even know that you had that you can now turn off. So you can start saving money without changing your lifestyle. Then when it comes to your savings, I want you to make sure you're saving money strategically, because in the traditional Indian culture, you save money to infinity, because the way that you become wealthy, or at least what's perceived is, you just make a big salary and then you save as much money as possible, and that's it. The problem with that is your savings are losing value to inflation. So if you want to save your money strategically, you want to know how much money you should save to protect you against an emergency. And I like to save somewhere between 3 months to 12 months of your expenses you need to save. So if you are spending $5,000 a month, take $5,000, multiply by 3, $15,000, and then take $5,000, multiply it by 12, $60,000. That's the amount of money you need to save somewhere within that range. Now, you're going to say, just that's a huge range. And it is. And the reason why is because, well, it depends on where you are in your financial career. If you are in your early 22nd, you're fresh out of college, you don't need a year's worth of savings because you could take on more risk. But if you're in your 42nd, you got kids, you got parents you got to take care of, and you have a bunch more financial responsibilities. Now, maybe you need 6 months or 9 months or a year's worth of expense depending on how your risk tolerance is, and depending on how stable your income is. And so, depending on where you are in your financial journey, you can figure out how much money you need to save. And you can take the savings and put it in a high yield savings account. Not so you're going to build wealth, but that way at least you earn some interest on these savings. And again, these savings are there to protect you against an emergency. This is not savings you want to use a down payment on a house or a car. This is extra money to protect you just in case something goes wrong. That way you never have to go into credit card debt again. Then number 3 is you have to develop your investing strategy. And the mistake that a lot of people make is they try to do everything at once. And the best analogy that I can give you is when somebody goes to the gym for the first time, I want to get in shape. It can be extremely overwhelming because now people will tell you you have to do high intensity training. Other people, you will tell you got to do heavyweight training. Other people will tell you you need to do low intensity training. Other people will tell you to get a trainer. And then other people will tell you it's not about the workouts, it's about your diet. Go vegan, go carnivore, go paleo, go keto, whatever it is. And now it's very overwhelming because you have no idea what you should be doing. When in reality, you just got to start. Put down the donuts and ho-hos and walk on a treadmill. Then maybe put the treadmill on an incline. Then maybe pick up some weights. Then you start to see what you like and you start to do what's right. For you, depending on what your goals are, it's the same thing with investing. There are so many ways to start, and just start because you're going to make mistakes. Every video I say that investing has risks. You're never guaranteed to make money when you invest. In fact, you will lose money at some point. So, make sure you always do your own due diligence and never blindly trust a random guy on YouTube. The reason why I say that is because number 1, personal finance is personal. What's right for me is not going to be right for you. And number 2, you're going to screw up. It's a part of the process. Every single investor in the world has lost money at some point. The goal is to make more than you lose, but you're not going to be able to make those successful trades and successful investments until you make the screw-ups and learn how you screwed up. So, just get started. If you have a 401k, start with your 401k. It's simple. Open up an end investing brokerage account and just get started. And then you can start learning about active investing versus passive investing. I teach this a lot on my channel. Passive investing is where you invest your money into funds that give you exposure to the S&P 500, which is the group of the 500 largest companies in the stock market. There are funds that give you exposure to the total stock market. There are funds that give you exposure to real estate stocks. There are funds that give you exposure to AI stocks. There are funds that give you exposure to international stocks. There are funds that will give you exposure to dividend stocks. Just get started, and then you'll start to learn how to analyze those funds and how to decide what's a good fund for you. Active investing is not trading. I don't believe in trading. I think that's a way of gambling, and that's a path to lose, because we know statistically the vast majority of traders will lose money over the long term. But when I say active investing, I mean looking for individual companies to invest in that you want to hold for the long term. And by long term, I mean at least a year, if not many years, if not decades. But this is where you want to study what I call market shifts. You want to pay attention to where the economy is moving, where money is moving in the economy. Like we know money is moving into AI. How does that create investment opportunities? We know that President Trump has made a lot of changes in the economy. How does that change investment opportunities. These are called market shifts, and depending on where the money is moving, that can create an investment opportunity for the people that are willing to take on the extra work, extra research, extra time, for the additional risk that comes with more potential return. Again, more risk for more potential return. And now you can decide if you want to be more of an active investor or a passive investor or a hybrid of both. And then you can decide, well, maybe stocks are not right for me. Maybe I want to invest in real estate. And then you say, maybe I want to have some more speculative investments like startups or cryptocurrencies. Maybe you want to add some physical gold into the mix. That's how you start to build your investment portfolio. But you don't have to know everything to start. You just gotta start. And you don't need a ton of money. Start with $100. Start with $10. Start with what you have. Stay consistent. Don't get caught up with the shiny object syndrome with people on the fried internet talking about how you can double your money in 6 months. It's a bunch of crap. It's not how it works. That's not how actual investing actually works. We can take a look at people who've been investing their money for decades. We can take a look at investments over the last 100 years. We know that those things that have the shiny object, the big returns, can build huge returns. And then they also fall, oftentimes just as fast. And that's where you'll start to learn. You get burned a few times, but then you learn how to actually invest your money for the long term. But you got to be willing to keep getting up and coming back. And then, number 4, when it comes to you spending money, no more financing things that don't put money in your pocket. Do not finance cars. Do not finance your iPhone. Even if it's 0% April, stop financing your sofa. Stop financing those trips to Cancun. Stop financing the Gucci. Because the reality is, these things that don't actually put money in your pocket when you finance it. Now, number 1, you are buying something that's losing value, which that's fine. But now, not only are you buying something that's losing value, but you're paying interest on something that's losing value. And oftentimes, these things have a limited lifespan. So, you go out and buy this $50,000 car. Well, when you finance it, you're going to end up paying $75,000 to purchase that $50,000 car plus interest. And then when you go to sell that car 5 years later, you're only going to sell it for $20,000. You bought to it for $50,000, you paid $75,000, and you only get $20,000 out. That's not a winning transaction. So when it comes to things that don't put money in your pocket, do not finance it. And then when it comes to the luxury things, because I'm not against you buying nice things, I just want you to be able to afford them. And when I say afford those luxury things, I like to follow the rule of 5, which says if you can't buy 5 of them, you cannot afford one of them. Once you understand this, well, now you can break out of the system and start building wealth for yourself. Because what we talked about is so many people get stuck. You go out, get a good degree, you get a good job, you pay the highest taxes, and then you just start spending money like everybody else. And you live what I call net zero, which is you make money to spend the money, and now you have to finance the additional expenses that come up, which doesn't seem like a big deal, but they start to add up, and you just keep hoping that if you make some more money, all your financial problems will be solved. But what we've seen statistically is as people get bigger raises, they end up in bigger holes, because now you become more creditworthy and expenses always keep going up. And so if you want to break out of that, the simplest and best way, not the easiest way, is to pull the Band-Aid and make some extreme sacrifices for a little period of time. And if you can make those sacrifices for a little period of time, you can get out of the financial danger zone. You can start to get out of the credit card debt. You can build some savings. And now you can start to systemize your money. And this is where we talked about the mindset and we talked about the money set. The mindset is understanding that you can become wealthy. The money is a tool. The money is abundant. That it's your duty to become wealthy. Once you adopted that mindset, because you have to have that mindset, now it's about what do you do with the actual money. That way you can build that wealth. This is your financial education. We talked about systemizing your money. Something like 751510. We talked about now with your savings, save. Strategically, somewhere between 3 to 12 months worth of expenses. Then we talked about investing your money. Just get on the treadmill, put down the donuts, okay? Just get started, learn, make mistakes, and then keep trying. Invest in yourself. Invest in books on how to invest. Invest in classes on how to invest. Invest in research to find better investments. Invest in yourself. That way, you can expedite your learning when it comes to investing. And then, number 4 is when it comes to spending your money. No more financing things that do not put money in your pocket. Again, if you want some more resources on how you can start investing, I have my investing masterclass for you down in the description. And if you got value out of this video, the best thank you is a referral. So, if you could please share this video with a friend, family, member, colleague, or fellow investor. That way, we can continue to spread this financial education. Thank you. President Trump's plan to abolish the IRS is in motion. The IRS budget is being slashed with tax programs being shut down. And now, with the rollout of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, we are seeing the biggest tax reform in a 100 years. Anytime these changes happen, every financially savvy person asks the same question, which is how